Good morning. Waiting for that sun to come up. It's wet after raining all last night. Cold. See my breath. Morning. But the sky's looking pretty clear. I got about 6 miles to Tennessee Pass. It's gonna be a good day. So today's gonna have to be one of those days when the sun finally flies. Getting nice and hot. I gotta set everything up, put a clothesline up. I mean, everything's just pretty well soaked. I mean, not my bag, but my tent, the ground cloth, all my rain gear's gotta get dried off before it gets put away. So that's gonna take a half hour to an hour out of my hiking today. There's something about Colorado and sunshine on my shoulders that makes me happy. And this is kind of a historic place for me. In 1999, I was wanted by the FBI. I mean, not, 10 most wanted, but they found me right here in this spot. Maybe right here. And I was coming up the trail before I crossed the highway up here, and there were not only FBI but NASA employees finishing up this section of trail volunteers. And the FBI guy, he wanted me to pose so they could put it in their newsletter, the first guy to walk across their trail. So someplace I have a picture of me hiking across this section of trail when it was first built. And of course I said yes. You don't argue with the FBI. I mean, Dillinger did, but he ended up looking like Swiss cheese. Anyway, the sun just finally came over the mountain, so I'm gonna have my second breakfast, and I won't dry things out until it really starts flying. I mean, I can still see a full moon almost. Hasn't dropped yet, and the sun's up on this side. But man, it feels good. Boy, it's turned out to be a beautiful morning. Should be some moose in this valley. I hope the day holds like this. Beautiful valley. So after sleeping under Niagara Falls last night, I thought maybe as I'm drying all my gear out, I'd make it a teachable moment. I stopped now, it's 11:30, but out here it clouds up at 2, so I thought I'd better take advantage of the sun while I had it. But what happened last night, so I buy tents, and I guess I'm spoiled because I've just had Hillyberg tents for 25 years, and I'm used to them. Obviously I love this tent because I bought it twice, but I'm still not sure it's the tent for me. And it's nights like last night that bring that to mind. So I'm hiking along, and it's kind of my fault because I like to burn daylight, and it was clouding up, and I should have stopped earlier, but I didn't. And then when I finally did, it just cut loose, and it was like Niagara Falls trying to set up this tent. But there are going to be times when you have to set up tent in those conditions, and that's kind of how I look at buying a tent. So will this take those kind of conditions? Yeah. And what I did was, I had all my rain gear on, so I wasn't like in a huge hurry, but it was really coming down. So I staked out the 4 corners, and then I put the guy lines out. And this tent, though, when you put those poles in and telescope them up nice and tight, it puts a lot of pressure on all these corners. And so I staked it down and then put rocks on them every corner before I crawled in this tent with all my gear and my body. And everything was going pretty good. I got dry clothes on, got in my bag. I was a happy camper. And then all of a sudden I noticed something wasn't just right. And what wasn't right was this whole wall was against my inner tent. So this stake had come out. And it was still pouring cats and dogs, and I did not want to go out and deal with a stake. And so that's why I'm telling you now, the teaching moment here should be, if you have this tent, you should be putting these guy lines out. It only takes 2 extra stakes. Had I not put those out, it would have been a short-term disaster, because this whole tent would have gone down just like that in that storm. But it blew, it rained, it hailed, it thundered, it lightning, and I was nice and tight in there. And then I woke up about 1 o'clock and I was able to get out of my tent and run around naked in the moonlight, staking it back down at this corner, and everything was cool. But again, I would be in there, rain would be falling, it would have been a mess. There's Mosier Lake. It's really been sunny today. I'm so happy I found my hat. Makes me want to break out in song. There's a storm across the mountains. Clouds are rolling in. Found my hat sitting on a stump. And oh, it's good to be back home again. Yes, it is. To have my hat covering my skin, where I had hair back when. Guys, got to do something out here to melt the miles away. I've got to entertain myself. You know, my wife and I have traveled our whole lives and have met so many people. We know such a variety of people from all walks of life, but they all have something in common. One common thread I've always noticed, and that's, even after they've known me for just a short period of time, they all say the same thing. Shut up, dick.